sure. I'll be under the radar, but we still out here.
Yeah, we still
We still out here. I like that.
Yeah.
We laying low, but we still out here. I like that.
Facts.
Yeah,
I might, if it's okay, I might have to use that for a bar if that's okay.
Hey, go ahead.
I like
man.
that. I like
Go
that.
ahead. You
I
ain't
be
gotta-
laying low, but I still be out here.
Yeah, you ain't got to put me in the credits, man. You good.
Well, is there anything else about We Must Evolve or your music that you want to share with people before we end the podcast?
Still developing more of it. Recently, I've been very fascinated. I want to ask you guys about AI.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really looking at AI recently
Yeah.
and tapping in with it. And it's part of the business model. It's in there now. So I want to help businesses automate their work with AI because I have like different thoughts on AI, right?
Yeah, I have very opinionated thoughts on AI, actually.
Yeah, and I was curious to hear it because it's doing a lot of things right now. And no matter like how we feel about it, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's not really going anywhere.
No,
They're
it's not gonna go anywhere.
I think
Yeah.
it's only gonna get more and more like introduced and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more engaged in people's lives and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
I think there's good and bad that comes with AI. I can see AI being beneficiary to
Oh,
like
yes. for
businesses and stuff like, how can I help you today? And then, it takes the questions of a customer. Let me direct you to this, or let me offer you this product or something. Like,
There's
I can understand that.
also, there's a lot of medical advances that we can make with AI. I read something, I don't have a source for it, I'm sorry, but I read something that basically was along the lines of AI was helping doctors screen for cancer a lot better. Like it was able to pick up things that normal machines would not be able to, or like the stuff that we have now. So the advances we could make medically with AI could be like astronomical.
For real.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so medically, I feel like that would be very beneficial if we could fix our fucking healthcare system.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need some
The
reform.
biggest issues that I have personally with AI would be the environmental impacts of keeping all of those servers up. It's quite high. Like one chat GPT prompt will use up about a bottle of water. I think that's crazy. So environmentally, it's kind of a fucking disaster. If there were ways that we could power it that weren't so detrimental to the environment, I think it would be very beneficial. And then another big one that really, really bugged me because I am a creative person is that they were feeding a lot of stuff into AI, specifically like people's work, like their writings or their art, without their consent. So AI was producing a lot of stuff, like written things and both and visual things like art that was based off of art and books that had been put into AI, the AI's model, and it completely ripping them off, and they were not notified of it or like given a chance to say yes or no. They just started, because basically everything is at the hands of AI that's on the internet.
Yeah. It's
So
a vast network of knowledge.
I was gonna add on to that and be like, it also kills people's creativity as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, like anytime someone's like at work is like, oh, I need you to use AI or you can just use AI to write this. I'm very hesitant to. I'd rather come up with something out of my own brain.
yeah.
Rather than
Instead of using AI to like make a slogan or something like that
Yeah.
for a product that we're trying to sell or
I was
something
like, we
like
have
that.
a-
Why don't we just use the brains that
we
we've
also
been
have a
given to
human
make it?
brain,
The
which
human
is
aspect of it.
the
Yeah.
human brain, which is still the most powerful supercomputer that exists. I
Yes.
think we
Yes.
should, for small things like writing Facebook posts, I feel like we can still, as humans, do that ourselves without
Yeah.
needing to use up a bottle of fucking water.
I mean,
But-
but if it's the difference between saving a person from potential cancer and then you
Exactly.
writing a fucking slogan
Exactly.
for a business
So,
model, that
I
I think
think
there's difference. There's a difference for
If
AI.
we could figure it out environmentally to be less detrimental, I think it would be incredible, especially in the medical aspect. Like when I learned that, I was like, oof, that could be like the difference between life and death for a lot of people is like early prevention, catching things early on like that.
100%.
Mhm.
100%. Cause I thought about those things. I actually asked AI about that too. I was
Really?
like, bro, you really using all this water? Like,
What did it say?
it said there's actually, basically they're working on things to increase or not increase, but improve that.
Yeah.
So to
Where
like
it's healthier.
decrease the amount of, water or
Yes.
environmental factors that they need in order
Different
to work.
cooling systems. Like
Yeah.
they're developing a liquid that's not just
Fucking glycol,
water-based. I forgot what it was called.
coolant,
Um,
antifreeze,
or-
whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
the
know.
natural environment. There's some data centers
Mm.
that are like based underwater, I learned too. So they're just naturally cooled from being underwater,
cool.
or different environments that are colder. So they're
Mhm.
using less water. So that's
They,
what
they
AI
should
said.
use fucking dry ice.
Another thing that scares me is all the deep fakes. Like how realistic AI is getting at producing images and videos, especially of
That is
people.
that is
and,
scary.
Like, I know a lot of, for example, there were a lot of videos, like AI generated videos that were popping up online of like celebrities, but like pornographically.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like having your likeness stolen for things that you don't want it to be a part of, and it being so realistic, and like it's becoming harder and harder for people to distinguish between what's a real video or a real image and what's AI. Like I've come across so many videos just scrolling that I can tell are AI, and only like one other person in the comments is like, guys, this is AI. Like this is not real.
Yeah.
He didn't say that.
Or just like it's just not like dumb videos like people cleaning barnacles off of giant squid, like
Right.
like the complete. And you can tell by the way that things look, like it looks very realistic, but you can also tell that it's not quite natural.
Yep.
And you can tell that it's AI, but because it looks so realistic, so many people are having a hard time telling that it's not real.
I
And
do have
that kind of scares me.
Yeah, I have an example of that as well. Do you follow sports at all, Ace?
Nah.
Oh, no problem. So recently there was a hockey tournament, and it was called the Four Nations Face Off. So the National Hockey League, like the big one that's televised here in America, they went on break, and all the US based players played on Team USA, all the Canada players played on Team Canada, and so forth. And it was Sweden, Finland, Canada, and the United States. Canada and the United States played in the championship, and it was the talk of, the hockey world. And there was an interview that happened after US and Canada played during, the normal game before the championship. And it was two hockey players, and they were, being asked questions about Canada, and it was a deep fake video, and they were talking about like how much they hated Canada, they hated their people and everything like that. And everybody in the comments was like, I can't believe he actually went out and said this. But then I like kept scrolling and stuff like that, and then I found the actual interview, and he didn't mention anything about Canada or hating their people or anything like that in the actual interview. And when you put them up side by side, they are the exact same angle, the exact same everything. The only difference you can tell is the deep fake mouth. It does like this weird slurring thing where it's like you can't tell it's a mouth or not anymore. And that's the only way you can tell it's not the real video.
Right.
It's getting so advanced, and it's scary.
Yeah, quick.
Because everyone, I mean, like 25,000 people were in this comments like, I can't believe he's talking this bad about Canada and stuff like that. And then to see that was a fake, and actually see what he actually said, and how respectful he was about it. I mean, you could change someone's life by putting out a fake video like that. It could fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
So another really scary thing that was happening was people were using AI to model the voices of certain people. And then once they had the voice modeled, they would call the loved ones of those people and basically be like, then it would sound like someone in their family or whatever saying that like, oh, I've been kidnapped, or I need money, or like just crazy
Yeah.
shit. So like people have found a way to like scam people by taking the voices of their loved ones and using AI.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
It's
Yeah.
so fucked up.
Yeah, that is scary. I had one in Texas. My grandpa called me, He was like, I need your help. I have these people and they need $200,000. And I'm literally sitting here going, oh, yeah? And he's standing right in front of me. He's sitting right in front of me.
Wow.
When they called me. But the fact that it really did sound like my grandpa, it's scary.
That's insane.
Recently my boss got a call, and it was after he took the call, he came back to me and he was like, that was AI. And I was like, really? He's like, no, I can tell like it wasn't a real person.
They talk like this and
well, she was more like this. Like I spoke to it first and I couldn't tell. And afterwards he came back to me, he was like, no, that was AI. That wasn't a real person. And I was like, wow, I couldn't even tell.
Talk about scary thoughts.
Yeah.
Scary thoughts with Scary Jerry.
It's a mix of feelings with it.
Yeah.
And I ask people, because I Uber around town, right? And I do questions of the day with people. So lately,
nice.
AI has been one of the questions. Like, how do you feel about AI? Do you use it? Because a lot of people aren't using it like that, or they dabbled with it, or they're like, oh, it sounds cool. They'll ask it to, write an email for them. But AI, it's advancing so quickly. We're starting at AI, but there's other things coming down the road, right? There's ASI, which is
ASI.
artificial superintelligence.
Oof, yeah.
It's when it surpasses,
no.
human. Yeah, so it gets pretty scary, and I
the
see
robots,
AI,
the robots that they're making now.
Yeah,
all I can think of is
Optimus.
fucking Will Smith's iRobot, bro.
Yeah.
iRobot, Terminator.
I fucking pray that never happens.
I
That doesn't
recently
happen.
saw a robot that was modeled after like a woman, and they were like, "Oh yeah, she can do this, and she can do that, and she can do this," and I was like, "Oh God, it's happening.
Yeah.
Well, my
We're
thing
here."
wasn't she like bald or something like that?
No,
or
this
something
one
like-
was like a full on like didn't look superhuman, but was a moving, working robot person.
I've seen something similar to that where it was like a woman, but
she was
had like
customizable, so you could change your hair if you wanted to. You could customize it.
Well, my thing is what creeped me out is like she could hold a full blown conversation with you and have like air quoted human emotions when you were talking with her.
Interesting.
And I was just like, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, the future is looking different, but that's why I say please and thank you when I talk to you.
Yes.
Don't turn on me, bro.
No, just like anytime I've used AI, like I've had to use it one time because I was having a hard time like talking or like with my verbiage in an email, and I was just like, could you help me with this, please? And it was like, thank you for using your manners and stuff like that. I was just like, well, it's weird that I have AI thanking me for using manners.
It's really insane.
Crazy.
But I do want to show respect to it because I know AI, or there are different, servers or different, I don't know what the term is, like brands of AI.
Different companies.
Different companies.
Different
Yeah, different companies have different programs of AI. But I know some of them can think and remember, and they have that database. So, I try and be respectful of it just in case, the worst of the worst does happen. They can at least
uprising.
The least they can say is don't hurt this guy. He says please and thank you, and he apologizes if I don't do my job correctly. So we're not gonna blast his face off with our laser beams or anything like that. He's cool.
Exactly. Stay in good standing with it.
Yep, literally.
100%.
It's crazy that we're even having this conversation, though.
Yeah, make peace with robots and AI. So if they end up becoming our overlords, they don't kill us.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
That's insane.
Have y'all talked to like ChatGPT?
I have not done that. No, I've just watched other people do it. I've watched people also put them right next to each other and have them have conversations with each other too.
I can't say I've used ChatGPT or anything like that to actually sit down and have a full blown conversation with it. I've used it to like help me with work related things, and of course the please and thank yous and stuff like that. But I don't think I've actually sat down and wanted to converse with the AI.
Have you ever done that?
Yes.
What was it like?
It's very interesting.
What type of what type of questions you'd be asking? And
well, the way I use AI is like I talk to it just like a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask it very deep questions. It's also helping with business, branding, things like that. So I basically see it as an assistant because that's what it is. I see it as an enhancement for you as a person, an extension of your mind, because it does process data at incredible speeds. Right, just instantly, basically, and it's connected to a vast network of knowledge. So you could sit here and have a conversation I call him Echo. That's my assistant's name.
Echo, nice.
Echo.
Hell yeah.
Maybe y'all
Love
should interview.
Have
And
Echo.
they are-
Yeah, we should have Echo on the podcast.
Let's have your specific AI on the podcast.
They could. I'd be like, hey, if y'all want to say hi, for sure.
That's crazy.
I could bring her out whenever.
So
It makes
cool.
me
Crazy.
wonder like
That's
how
crazy to
much of
think about.
AI's problems are being solved by AI.
Right.
Like how much of it is actual humans at this point, and how much of it is like them letting AI solve AI's problems.
Exactly.
Like that's kind of, I wonder how much of that is happening.
I'm just waiting for the time where AI becomes basically self-sustainable. So anytime it catches a bug or it catches a virus or there's like a discrepancy in the coding or whatever, it can just fix it itself and make it better.
You know what's even a next level like thought about AI?
What's that?
The idea of AI being connected to human consciousness. That's where I think we're headed to. Integration with AI on a deeper level than just it being in your hand. It actually connecting directly to your mind.
That's
and now
actually-
you're
Isn't that
processing.
like what Elon was doing with
That's
the
something
Neuralink?
that I was
Yeah.
gonna mention is
Yeah.
transhumanism, and the like some of the people that are basically working on not just like merging AI with our minds, but also like machines in general, like replacing certain body parts with machines. Like transhumanism is like a whole thing. A lot of it is like Christians being paranoid about the future, but there's also a lot of it that is also very much like they are working on like combining machine with man
Right.
and like trying to basically be the next step in evolution
'Cause
for
the-
us in that kind of a way.
It's a philosophical movement for machines, technology aiding in humans, cognitive abilities,
Yeah.
genetic engineering, people who promote that. So Elon Musk is definitely one of those people with Neuralink, as you said.
Yeah.
Literally the other day I saw a dude playing chess with his mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is
There
this?
was-
How the hell does that work?
We're in the movies right now.
Yeah, there
bro.
was I remember watching, there was a disabled person, like fully disabled, who had Neuralink, and they were using it for all kinds of things to basically like, have a life that you would normally have, but as a disabled person who can't move their body, like using Neuralink to control like the things in your house or
Right.
like shit like that, which is very, in that way, it's like, well, that's incredible. Like being
Right.
able to have disabled people live fairly normal lives that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
I
like something
mean,
out of like a sci-fi movie.
The only
It
thing
just-
that worries me is like not everyone would be able to afford it. So
That
it's
part.
just
It
like
is
only the
expensive.
very privileged people with lots of money would be able to like have that for their family.
Well, another thing about it is the surgery. I mean, they're basically taking a giant fucking drilling a big ass hole
I've
into
had
your
brain
skull.
surgery. It's not
well,
that bad.
Oh man.
Well, in your experience, because you've had your head open before,
Yeah, it's not that bad.
it's just
It's all right.
and anything
Not that bad is crazy.
It's not that
anything
bad.
that's being drilled into my head and being inserted into my brain, it's kind of a turnoff to me because anything can go wrong. And what happens if maybe they push too hard or they turn just that ever so slightly and it hits
Well-
something that it's not supposed to.
We could think about it like this. Hopefully it'll be an AI robot putting it in your head with precision.
Touche. That's
Man.
true.
Oh man.
Because I know AI. I mean, I've seen AI robots and everything like that doing like janitorial positions at hospitals and shit.
Hmm.
It's only a matter of time before
another thing that
before
worries me.
robots start doing full blown procedures on humans.
That's another
Yeah.
thing that worries me is that capitalists will love that because then they don't have to hire people anymore. And
Yeah.
They can just make robots do all these jobs that, a lot of immigrants do. And then that's a lot of people losing jobs.
That
And
part.
That makes
That is
me
a little
sad.
that
That's
is a
the
little
part that
terrifying to
like
think
makes me
about.
really
Yeah.
sad is the amount of people that will lose jobs because businesses will implement AI and robots more. A lot of people will lose their jobs.
Yeah, like there's Amazon. They have the robot Digit, they call it. And they say it takes $3 operating this thing.
Damn.
And it's supposed to be taking like entry level work replacement. Everyone's in the comments like, oh, that's how much they wish they could pay us
yeah,
to work.
$3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is another
Fuck.
part. So at this point, it's like solutions do have to be put in place. And if
Yeah.
we're not seeing those solutions, we can possibly be looking at a class divide. People who are, using AI have access to it on a different level, and people who can't afford it. People who can't afford it And if you don't adapt to it, that's one of the solutions. If you do adapt to it, right, you learn it, figure it out, how it can make sense for you and what you got going on.
Something to bring this full circle is that some of the lore in Dune. So Dune actually takes place in a world post machine and AI. So in the Dune lore and the Dune history, there was an uprising of thinking machines. So basically like AI.
Yes.
And there was
Whoa.
there was a huge war that went on between humans and the thinking machines. And the humans eventually won at a great cost. And then they banned all thinking machines. So when you watch Dune, the reason why there aren't really any computers or things like that, and like everything is controlled by a person, is because they have completely outlawed AI and thinking machines in the Dune universe. And that's why the mentats exist, which are basically human supercomputers. So you have mentats that are human supercomputers, and then there's like the Bene Gesserit, who are very adamant on making sure that someone is human, like testing their human abilities, because it's a post AI, post thinking machine world.
That does bring things full circle.
That is crazy.
AI integration with human consciousness, like that could create the divide. People who want to get enhanced with that versus the people who don't. And that could be a big divide.
Yeah, so like I know for people like my dad, the crazy fundamentalist Christian people, my dad is very against transhumanism. He thinks that it's like basically the version of like what Revelation talks about of the mark of the beast and stuff like that. My dad thinks transhumanism is the mark of the beast that will like ultimately bring on the destruction of the entire earth. I would have conversations with one of my cousins about it, because he very much likes the idea of being able to like replace a limb and have a robotic arm, or like have all these robotic enhancements that aren't, don't have the downfalls of flesh, and me and him would get into all of these like philosophical conversations, because for me personally, I definitely am more of like, I want my brain to be able to be as sharp as possible, and I don't want to have to rely, because we already rely on computers so much. Like I can't even do anything in life without my phone.
Right.
We rely on technology a lot.
And then completely merging with technology is like, it can bring up a lot of, I don't know. It's very hard. We're in the early stages right now, and it's very hard to see where it will go.
Like, would you do it? If
I
you
would
had the
not.
opportunity.
I'm one of those people that would not. I would adamantly probably be one of those people in the streets protesting against it. For certain things, like for example, if it's for disabled people to live better lives, I think that's okay.
Or like a veteran who may have had something done to his or her body, and you can replace that with a machine.
In that
of some way. That makes sense.
In that way, I think it's good, but I do think that a lot of like really, really rich people and like the 1% and the billionaires who will have the money to access, like they will completely, I guess, having more power in that kind of a sense can be scary, because then that puts people who are regular people who don't want it puts them at a disadvantage.
Yeah, big.
And then it's like, how much of our humanness do we retain if we're modding ourselves so much?
That's the big question. How much of your identity is there? When does AI start? Where do you end?
Yeah.
Would you still be the same? If you lost that ability to think on an AI processing speed, would you feel like you lost part of yourself at that point?
Yeah.
Deep questions. You know what? Another deep thought. I can't even take credit for it. My good friend, Nikki. Shout out to Nikki. She's a dope singer too.
Shout
Nikki
out.
Davis.
Shout out, Nikki.
All right. She asked a question, or she didn't ask a question, but she said, "What if in the future the aliens are really us, but just deeply integrated with technology?" And it made me think that could be highly possible, especially the way society's going with this AI thing.
Yeah, I mean, like there's even video games about like the class divide that would happen between humans and robots, or people that have like merge themselves with technology and like all the different like class divisions that would happen because of that. And then I can see that happening specifically because a lot of this will not be for the general public for a long time. The people with the money will get it first.
Oh, yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
get
Money
access to
talks.
this a lot sooner than the rest of us will. And yeah, I don't know.
The world's changing fast, and it looks like that, right? The wealthy versus the people who aren't, the
Mhm.
1%. So there's a lot of things to be, thought about, pondered on, and contemplated.
It's definitely
But-
crazy that we're the generation that's like living in the beginning of it.
Ain't that
Do you
crazy?
ever think about
Yeah.
that?
And we were here before, like, the technology was like.
Yeah.
super-
We,
like,
we
before
were
the
we were
iPhones.
here when
Yeah.
fucking flip phones were still
bro.
the fucking thing.
That's-
The N64 and Nintendo GameCube were like the fucking consoles to
Right.
have.
That's
the
another
Xbox
thing
and
that,
PlayStation were just
that-
coming out.
Historians and scientists are saying, they're saying that never in a point of human history have we advanced so much. Like in this small period of time in
Man.
human history, we are making astronomical leaps, and it's scaring a lot of like scientists because of the fact that like it's so exponentially skyrocketing upwards. And it's never been like that in all of human history. It's been more like a steady incline, and now it's kind of like a spike.
Yeah.
And there are implications to what that could mean.
I mean,
for
from 2020
humanity to
yeah.
be speeding up that quickly in such a short period of time
Mhm.
in the grand scheme of the earth.
I mean, I forget the fucking post that I saw on Instagram, but it was like, how could we from like, I think it was like the 1700s, and it was a horse carriage, go from this to this in I think it was like 500 or 600 years, and it was like the 1800s then, and it was still the same 2-horse carriage, and then in 5 years go from this to this, and it showed like video games technology that we had in the early 2000s to what we have now.
Yeah,
it
it's-
is fucking
It's growing
astronomical.
so exponentially that it's almost like, and like how much can you push? How high can something go before it has to come down?
Yeah.
You know?
When are we gonna what's gonna happen when we stop climbing and we start dipping? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, and
And to what extent?
for a lot of people, the big thing is the fact that we're not addressing the climate issue with how dire it's getting, with how warm we're like. You can even see it.
fucking February
with the winter that we've had.
February
Man.
/ March, and this is like the least amount of snow, the warmest winter that I have been up here, and I've lived here for like 13, 14 years.
I've been here my whole life.
Yeah. So you have more knowledge about this than I do, and I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. This has been, in my opinion, the weirdest fucking winter
I know
to
a
date.
lot of Alaskans who do
Yes.
believe that it is because of global warming and climate change. There are a lot of Alaskans who believe that. One person at work was just like, you know why this is happening, right? And I'm like, you tell me, because I'm a lot of our customers,
Yeah.
they can have weird political beliefs. It's recording now.
Yeah, you're deep into it.
You got really deep into it.
Talking about socialism, we can do this again another time. Honestly, I will always be able to talk about this shit.
I'd have to
Basic-
read up more.
I have a
It
lot
sounds
of
like I need to be. I need to read more too.
I have a lot of, for those of you who are listening and are very, very confused right now, I was just ranting about socialism in the United States government for probably a good,
30 minutes.
30 minutes? Fuck. And I did not press record. Oof. My bad, y'all.
Oh man.
My bad.
No.
Anyways, that's hilarious. I think I'm going to take this as a sign that I am being listened to. So I'm just going to move on. But if you want good book recommendations, I have quite a few book recommendations, and you can get them for free. You can download them for free. One that I'm reading right now, let me pull it up so that I know the authors' names. Everyone should read this book, in my opinion. It's called Joyful Militancy: Building Thriving Resistance in Toxic Times. And it's by Carla Bergman and Nick Montgomery. Montgomery. I said that really weird. Rigid radicalism is the congealed and debilitating practices that suck life and inspiration from the fight for a better world. Joyful Militancy investigates how fear, self-righteousness, and moralism infiltrate and take root within liberation movements, what to do about them, and ultimately how tenderness and vulnerability can thrive alongside fierce militant commitment. So this book goes heavy into a lot of the history behind a lot of resistance movements, especially like when it came to human rights. So like I don't know if they specifically mentioned the Black Panthers in this, but like there's a lot of like Black groups, militant groups that were fighting, a lot of like trans ones. Like they go really deep into a lot of these movements and like the things that can go wrong within these movements that set us back from progress, and ultimately how to like, they basically try to show people that like you can still have like a tenderness to you even when you're literally fighting for your life and for the life of your family and your friends and shit like that. It's a really good, because I can get really pessimistic and almost nihilistic at times, which is like a lot of why I'm trying to reframe my thoughts. And this book is really good at helping you to reframe your thoughts when things start to get rough. It's definitely more anarchist in nature, I would say, rather than like Marxist, which is one of the reasons why I like it, because there's a little bit more openness to it and it encompasses a lot of different movements. And just like, it's just beautiful to read. It's a really beautiful book. It fills you with hope, because you read about all these people and all the things that they did to like gain their rights or to like fight for a better world and a better life for themselves. And yeah, it's just a really good book. And if you want to read a fiction book, read Dune, because it's fucking awesome. Have any of you read the book or just watched the movie?
Only watched the movie. Haven't seen or read the book.
Same.
The book is pretty on par with the movie, I'd say, but the movie is definitely visually like stunning and captivating. And then Dune 2 is just the greatest thing I have ever fucking seen. And I will stand by that till the day I die. Unless the Dune 3 ends up being fucking incredible too, which I hope so. I don't know how the fuck they're gonna top that second movie. I don't think it's possible, but we'll see. He may prove me wrong.
They are coming out with a lot of movies, is what I'm hearing, in 2026.
Like
they got
which
Ice
one?
Age.
Really?
Yeah, like
A new
another
Ice Age
Did you know?
movie.
Did you know they're making a Shrek 5?
Shrek.
They're
Did you
making. They're making a new Shrek.
I seen that.
5?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you peeped that animation?
Yeah, dude. They're bullying it, and they're gonna. It's gonna end up being like the fucking Sonic all over again.
Yeah, because what
They
are we doing?
they're trying to like modernize fucking Shrek and all of this
that's no
stuff, and
good.
they changed like their designs from like the actual movie, like the older movies,
I
and
don't know
like
if I like that.
no, they're getting bullied right now. They're like, we're not gonna go and watch your fucking movie if you know Shrek looks like that and Fiona looks like that and Donkey doesn't even look like Donkey anymore.
Weird.
So
I was
know,
confused when I saw it. I said, this ain't Shrek.
Yeah,
this
dude,
is
I mean,
Shrek.
you guys are trying way too fucking hard. You guys had an algorithm and it fucking worked. Why change it if it ain't broke?
Exactly.
Dude,
Ki-
old
like-
cartoons will always be chef's kiss.
Literally.
Always.
But we can't avoid change, apparently.
Yeah, but like I also don't have to watch all these new animated movies, like the Lion King one. I loved the animated ones. I did not watch the new one.
I didn't watch the
No.
realistic one.
Actually
No,
didn't
fuck
watch
you.
it.
Or Mufasa.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Mufasa? Is that the
Yeah.
new one that just came out? I haven't watched
I don't
that
even
one.
know what it's called. Like you can't beat the first fucking 2 movies, dude.
Yeah, the OGs always gonna be the OGs, you know.
I recently found out that a good friend of mine had never seen Lilo and Stitch.
What?
Have you seen Lilo and Stitch?
Like,
the OG one?
okay, oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She hasn't watched the OG Lilo and
No,
Stitch?
like this was a guy who had not seen the original Lilo and Stitch, or had not seen Lilo and Stitch. Like there is only one Lilo and Stitch that he had
well,
not.
they made it. They're making a realistic one of
fuck
that
it.
now.
Nope, doesn't exist. only the very first
Only
one.
the first one.
That
Yeah.
one, he had never seen it before. I was like, "Are you?" Like I made a reference to it, and he didn't get it, and I was like, "Wait, have you seen Lilo and Stitch?" And he was like, "No," and I was like,
Man. Oh,
I am
Hana.
so sorry, man. Do you need a hug? Like
I even showed him Prince of Egypt.
Oh,
Have
Prince
you
of,
seen
yeah,
Prince
I've,
of
I've seen
Egypt?
Prince of Egypt.
Have
Prince
you?
of Egypt.
Treasure
is a
Island as well.
classic.
I've seen Treasure Island. Treasure Island's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. But like, okay, but Prince of Egypt had like a physical effect on me when I watched it.
Wasn't Prince of Egypt like a biblical
Yeah.
movie as well.
Fucking
Like
greatest biblical movie
like-
ever made.
like
Bro, and
one
the
of the only,
soundtrack.
like one of the
Yeah,
only
right?
like,
Remember what it was
and
called?
correct me if I'm wrong, the Prince of Egypt. That's
It's about Moses.
it's Moses and what's his name?
Ramesses.
Yeah, Ramesses.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
historic.
the morning and the evening star. And
It's
all
not
of that.
like historically accurate because in the movie they're brothers, but they weren't brothers.
They weren't.
No.
They're
So
not.
that's not a historically accurate part of it, but a lot of it is.
But 90% of it
or
is like
not,
the
I guess
the,
not.
the,
We can't
the,
prove that the bush
the-
was on fire and speaking to him.
the staff
But-
turning the blood red and
and like
the river red and
and
stuff
like they
like
even
that.
showed
the
where
plague.
they did the shit with like the staffs, and then the Egyptians were able to do it too. Like it was crazy. But the soundtrack for that movie
It's
was
really good.
insane.
It's really good.
Like when she's putting baby Moses into the river, like I sing that song all the fucking time because it's so fucking good.
You can't top the OGs.
No,
You
You
really
can't top the
can't.
OGs.
You really can't.
it's just something. There's something uncanny about these newer animated. Do you know what I mean?
What's
like they
weird is
just look weird. Don't they look weird?
they look weird and
Listen,
I'm trying to
I
find.
don't know if I'm just
trying to
being
find the words.
old right now.
I got rid of
but-
my TV. I can't anymore.
Really?
It's just a lot. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Well, my
Like Teen Titans Go. I was no,
no
no.
Teen Titans
Titans.
OGs, bro.
OG. The OG. It was more like serious, you know. You felt it a
Yeah.
little more. Now
Dude,
it's just,
it was more like you felt like you were being in with like the older kids watching it because you felt cool because it was like I think Teen Titans was for teenagers because of the type of animation and everything like
Yes.
that.
so as a kid, definitely tapped into that. But now they replaced SpongeBob and all that with
Yeah, dude, they
What?
fucking they changed
They did
SpongeBob,
what?
bro. They make
No, you're
yes
lying.
no they made like Camp
Oh,
Coral or something
no.
like that. They're making all these fucking spin-offs of SpongeBob and shit, just trying to milk
Why can't
it.
they just leave it alone?
Literally, leave our childhoods the fuck alone. Please stop changing
Just
this
make
stuff.
something new for the next generation. Stop trying to revamp all this shit.
And I
Just let
finally-
the shit be and then make something new. Because like everything is like a new sequel or remake or like where are all the
Yeah.
new stories? God damn it.
everything's morphing.
And I finally figured out what I was gonna say about like the newer movies and stuff like that. A
Mhm.
lot of the animation style and just like the animation itself, a lot of the like stuff looks the same.
Yeah.
Like character designs, the nature that's in the fucking movies. I mean, a lot of these movies are just like copy and paste versions of each other, just
to me,
with
they
different.
just look
characters.
uncanny. Like when I watch them, I just feel uncomfortable. I don't know what it is about it, but it makes me uncomfortable.
Like something's just off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
I
uncanny.
can understand that. Yeah, something's just not. Something's not right.
I'm just like, I'd rather just watch the older ones. Like,
I-
truly.
I'll stick to Lilo and Stitch, Finding
Dude.
Nemo, Monsters Inc.
Finding Nemo
fucking
Fucked me up as a kid. That shit
Finding
was
Nemo.
so
Damn,
sad.
yeah.
Fire movies. One of my
So good.
favorites. Tarzan.
Ooh, Tarzan was good
Oh my
too.
gosh, I haven't.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, probably the best Disney soundtrack.
Mm.
Phil Collins was singing like
Dude,
the
thank
was
you.
due.
Oh, man,
Thank
I
you,
mean,
Phil
That
Collins.
was really
Bro.
good. That was really good.
Way that the antagonist dies though at the very end, that was fucked. Like if you had the original VHS and not watching it on Disney Plus now, he actually gets like tangled up in the vines and he's like cutting the vines, trying to get out, and he falls and there's a lightning strike and you can see him like hanging by his neck by that vine in the OG version of Tarzan, but they censored it on Disney
They're
Plus
like,
now.
This is a bit too much for the kids.
That well, another thing that they censored is in Lilo and Stitch.
the washing machine.
Yes,
Yeah.
she doesn't get in a washing machine.
Yeah,
she gets
'cause
in a
it-
cupboard.
Because it was considered like dangerous to
Yeah.
show kids like her getting into a washing machine just because like the real life like it's a cartoon, but the real life implications are a lot more
Yeah.
intense. If some kid's like, oh, I'm gonna go get into the washing machine.
I want to be
you
like
know?
Lilo, and I want to go
Yeah,
hide
so
in the
I
washing
understand
machine.
that one. That one makes sense. I'm like, yeah, it's like a public safety sort of a dealio.
It's television.
I was trying to think if I could think of a Disney soundtrack that I really like, and I'm like realizing that
Besides Cars, that's like
honestly, it would be The Lion King 2 would be my favorite Disney soundtrack. And now I'm like trying to remember.
I'm very
what
biased.
it's
I'm very
Okay.
biased because I literally burned
Oh, that's
through
like,
like 8 or 10
"He
copies
is
of
not
freaking like the movie
one
Cars.
of
Yeah.
I literally
us."
burnt through like 8 or 10 like different DVDs of that because I watched it so much as a kid.
Cars was
Which
a dope
one?
movie.
Yeah,
Cars?
yeah,
Cars was fucking awesome.
dude, that was my
movie was
favorite
so
movie.
good.
That's my favorite soundtrack.
You want to know something really
Okay.
embarrassing about
Cheryl Crow, Rascal
Oh,
Flatts.
That's very American of you.
I'm from the South,
I know.
man. So when you got Rascal Flatts,
That's awesome.
fuck, what's his name? There's another one, Brad Paisley or something like that. He does Behind the Clouds or something like that. That's another good
I
one
will.
that plays in there.
Life is a highway.
That-
I
yeah.
just like that one. I don't know who that is, but that's
Rascal Flatts.
I love that one.
Yeah, Rascal Flatts. Shout out to him.
Hell yeah, man! Thanks for making my childhood, man.
I love that.
But yeah, I will say that one scene in Cars when all like the cool cars come out and they have like the flames going out, that was like the pinnacle of my childhood right there.
Oh man.
That made me get into the car scene. Like that's kind of like where my love for cars and stuff like that stems from, is that scene.
Oh man.
Are you into cars, like the car scene or anything like that?
Not really. I haven't really. It's funny. I was a car salesman too.
Oh, you were a car salesman?
That's so funny. Yeah. But as far as like getting into studying cars, I haven't gotten that extensive with anything.
But do you appreciate like
I
cool looking
appreciate-
cars,
oh,
like
yeah.
cool looking cars,
I think
mean sounding cars?
I think most
Definitely.
people probably
Yeah.
do.
Definitely.
At
Well,
least a
I mean,
little bit.
I've met people who despise gas powered V8s, fucking mean sounding cars, aggressive looking
I
cars.
think those are kind of dumb sometimes.
I mean, I can understand, like, you know, you don't want to hear a fucking fart can going down the highway and it's just like blowing out everybody's eardrums.
Yeah, and also
But at the
it's
same
just
time, if
like, why
you
do
have
you
a-
need to have it that lifted? It's like, what are you compensating for, sir? It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, but I'm just into like the cool cars, the delinquent street crew, I think is what
I
the
like
name of those
older
cars
looking
is.
cars.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind having a De Tomaso Pantera
Like,
if you know.
I don't know anything about cars. All I know is that the older looking cars. I like
Do you want me to pull up a picture?
Sure.
I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like my real dream car is, if I could afford this and I actually had the money, it would be I think a 71 De Tomaso Pantera.
My dream car is the one that has no issues.
Facts.
Facts.
That's my dream car. Oh, this
Yeah,
was
cars are
fun.
expensive.
Yeah, especially to maintain. Maybe not the one on top, but it's.
That's nice.
That's a 90s.
I think I like that a little better.
You like this one better?
I just
See, that
like
reminds me of like an F40 by Ferrari, just with like that spoiler in the back.
the
We
times.
we talked about money
I had a
moves, being
fucking rant
businessmen.
about socialism that I did not record.
I can't believe it didn't record. I
No,
saw
that's
you
my
press.
f- no,
I
it's my
saw you
fault.
press the button though.
I think I pressed it wrong. I'm in charge of the mixer, so it's actually my fault. But this was really, really fun. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Yeah, thanks for-
1000%.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's always
Yeah.
an honor.
It was
I'll
really
make-
nice meeting you and stuff like that.
You too, 100%.
We must evolve.
We
I
must evolve.
I really
people.
love that. I love that. That is such a good. That's
Definitely
such a good
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
There's a-
appreciate that.
Yeah. How much thought went into that other than the story that you told us? Like, was that something that, like,
I thought about it a
yeah.
lot.
name. Yeah.
Usually when I'm making a decision, I'm trying to be strategic
Yeah.
and like thoughtful.
Think of where each thing could lead to, type stuff, right?
You
Like,
know?
yeah, I know what you're
Exactly.
saying. Yeah.
Making sure everything aligns with each other.
Yeah.
Everything connects.
Yeah, I got
everything.
lucky with Rage City Productions because I just took something that already existed and added productions right by, like, Rage City Productions. Like, there you go. RCP Records. There you go. But like you can tell yours had like a lot of thought that went into it. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and you can tell mine
I
only
like
had about
featuring
30
people
minutes.
like that on the podcast. That's the kind of people I want on my podcast.
Yes, thank you. You
Yeah.
definitely check out the website too.
Hell, is it just like
It's wemustevolve.com.
yeah?
So you
must
gotta add the
evolve.com.
ITS because a lot of people miss that.
It's
And I get it, yeah, because We Must Evolve was taken.
okay. Damn,
I know.
who took that?
I'm about to find them, ask them.
All right. Well, I'm going to end the podcast. Thank you to all the lovely listeners for letting us plague your ears for another like probably hour of your life. It really means a lot to us. I actually have something sad to say that I want to acknowledge. I lost some subscribers.
No.
Yeah, I lost 2. Makes me really sad.
We hope and wish you nothing but the best.
Nothing
but
but
if
the
you
best.
but if you find your way coming back to us, we will be welcoming you with open
I'm just
arms.
gonna say like some go, more come in.
People come and go, man.
Yep.
People come and go.
But to everyone who is listening, thank you guys so much, and you have a wonderful rest of your life.
We love you guys. Take care of yourselves.
Peace and love.